You ever walk into a room and feel every eye turn toward one person, not because they're the loudest, not because they're showing off, but because something about them commands attention. You can't even explain it. They move with calm. They speak with purpose. And without saying a word, people respect them. That's not luck. That's not personality. That's presence. And here's the truth. Respect isn't given because you ask for it. It's given because you earn it, and you earn it through how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you respond, and most importantly, how you don't respond. Let me tell you something most people get wrong about respect. They think it's about being liked. It's not. Being liked is comfortable. Being respected is powerful. When people like you, they might agree with you. But when they respect you, they'll listen to you. They'll follow you. They'll remember you. I've seen people with no title, no fancy background, no spotlight, walk into chaos, into conflict, into challenge. And immediately, everyone looks to them for direction. You know why? Because they live by a certain code. There are rules, unwritten rules, that make people take you seriously the moment they meet you. And today, I'm going to share those rules. Not theories, not cliches. These are the same principles that make people pause before interrupting you. That make your no mean something and your yes carry weight. But before we go into them, I want you to ask yourself one question. When people think of you, do they feel they can push you, or do they feel they have to step up to meet your level? Because that is the difference between being seen and being respected. So let's talk about how to build that difference, how to become the person who walks into any room, any situation, any challenge, and instantly earns respect. Before you ever open your mouth, people have already decided what they think about you. It happens in seconds. Before the handshake, before the smile, before the introduction. You walk in, and their subconscious mind is scanning you like radar. Who is this? Do I need to pay attention? Do they matter? That's the brutal truth about first impressions. You don't have to like it, but you do have to master it. Because whether you're stepping onto a stage, walking into a boardroom, or showing up to a tough conversation, people are forming an opinion about you before you've said a single word. Commanding your presence isn't about being intimidating or loud. It's about creating a quiet authority, a sense of calm strength that makes people take notice without you needing to demand it. The moment you enter a room, you are broadcasting messages through your body language, your posture, your energy, and people can feel it. They may not consciously register what's happening, but they can sense it. Respect starts with that energy. It's the invisible introduction that speaks louder than anything you'll ever say. Think about someone you've seen who carries real presence. They don't fidget. They don't over-explain. They don't rush to fill silence. They move with intention. Every gesture has purpose. When they sit, they take up space, not aggressively, but with quiet certainty. When they stand, their shoulders are back, their chin is up, their breathing is steady. They don't shrink. They don't apologize for existing. And that's what pulls people in. There's a kind of magnetism that comes from stillness. It's the same reason in a chaotic situation, the calmest person in the room becomes the leader by default. Everyone else is reacting, moving fast, talking loud. And then there's that one person who doesn't flinch. They take a second before responding. They look around. They assess. And without saying a thing, they communicate one powerful message: I've got this. That's presence. It's not just how you look. It's how you feel about yourself. Because here's the truth. You can't fake presence. You can try to imitate the posture, the gestures, the tone, but if inside you're anxious, uncertain, or desperate for approval, it leaks through. People pick up on that immediately. So if you want to command respect before you speak, you have to build it from the inside out. Presence begins with your mindset. Before you step into any room, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing with me? Are you walking in like someone seeking validation, or like someone who already knows their worth? Because people mirror what you project. If you project insecurity, they'll treat you with hesitation. If you project quiet confidence, they'll meet you with respect. Let's talk about body language, because it's your first language long before words ever enter the picture. Stand tall, keep your shoulders back, ground your feet firmly on the floor, don't cross your arms defensively, and don't hide behind your phone or your notes. When you walk, do it with purpose. Not rushed, not hesitant. When you make eye contact, hold it, not as a stare down, but as a signal of presence. The message should be, I see you, I'm here, and I'm not afraid of being seen. And when you speak, don't rush to fill silence. The most powerful people in the world use pauses like punctuation marks of power. They understand that silence creates gravity. People who talk too fast, who over-explain, who keep adding, you know, like, and I mean, into every sentence, they dilute their message. But when you take your time, when you say something and let it land, people listen. They lean in. They respect that you're not fighting for attention. You already have it. Let me tell you something: your energy introduces you before your words ever do. You can walk into a meeting and say nothing for 5 minutes and still set the tone of that room if your energy is anchored, calm, and confident. But if you walk in nervous, frantic, apologetic, or distracted, people pick up on that too. Presence is not about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. You can start practicing this every day. When you walk into a store, notice how you enter. Are you looking down? Are you rushing? Are you apologizing with your body language? Stop, slow down, straighten up. Take a breath before you move. This might sound small, but it rewires your subconscious. It teaches your body to embody confidence before your brain even catches up. There's a technique I call own your space. Wherever you are, whether you're standing in line, sitting in a chair, or presenting in front of a crowd, be in your space fully. Don't shrink into corners. Don't fold into yourself. Plant your feet. Relax your shoulders. Feel the ground under you. This physical grounding signals to your nervous system that you are safe, steady, and in control. And when you feel that, others feel it too. You know who taught me this? Real life. I've been in rooms where tension was thick enough to cut through, situations where one wrong word could shift the entire dynamic. And you learn, fast, that respect isn't about who talks the most or who's got the biggest title. It's about who can stay calm when everyone else loses it. It's about who can hold silence and not crumble under it. Presence is your power in stillness. You don't need to prove. You don't need to perform. You just need to be there, fully and unapologetically. Because when you're grounded in who you are, when you're not trying to impress, when you don't flinch under pressure, people feel that, and the reaction is almost automatic respect. You want to know the secret to commanding presence before you speak. 2. It's believing that you belong wherever you are. That's it. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for validation. You decide that your time, your space, and your voice matter. That's what makes people take you seriously, because you take yourself seriously. So the next time you walk into a room, remember, your silence can speak louder than words. Your stillness can be stronger than any argument. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to chase attention. You are the attention. Own it. Walk in knowing that you carry something valuable, and that everyone else will feel it, even before you say a single word. Because respect doesn't start when you speak. It starts when you show up. You know what the quickest way to lose respect is? Chasing it. The moment you start seeking approval, the moment you start bending who you are just to be accepted, you teach people that your worth depends on their opinion. And people can smell that weakness instantly. Approval, seeking energy is like blood in the water. It attracts the wrong kind of attention. People who are grounded in their own standards don't chase validation, because they already know who they are and what they stand for. Here's the truth: you cannot earn genuine respect from anyone while begging for their approval. They might like you, they might flatter you, but deep down, they won't trust you. Because when you chase approval, you're saying, I'll change who I am if it means you'll accept me. You're telling people your values are negotiable. And when your values are up for negotiation, your credibility vanishes. Think about the people you respect most. Are they the ones who try to please everyone? The ones who never say no, who always play it safe, who nod and smile just to keep the peace? No. The people you respect are the ones who stand on something solid. They have boundaries, principles, and standards that do not shift based on who's watching. They don't need to be liked to be respected. And that's exactly why they are. Chasing approval comes from fear, the fear of rejection, of conflict, of not being enough. We start people pleasing because we want to be seen as good, kind, agreeable. But here's the irony: the more you try to please everyone, the less they value you. Why? Because when you're desperate for approval, you give your power away. You start saying yes when you want to say no. You tolerate disrespect. You stay silent when you should speak up. And every time you do that, you teach people that your comfort doesn't matter, that you'll sacrifice your peace to keep them happy. Let me make this clear. Being kind and being a people pleaser are not the same thing. Kindness is strength. It's a choice made from confidence. People pleasing is fear. It's a reaction made from insecurity. One comes from abundance, the other from scarcity. When you lead with standards, you can still be kind. You can still care about people. But you won't compromise who you are to fit their expectations. Leading with standards means you set the tone. You decide what you will and won't tolerate. You define what respect looks like in your world. And you enforce it through action, not arguments. You don't need to explain your boundaries 100 times. You show them. You live by them. People who don't like your standards will naturally fall away. And that's good, too. Because respect isn't about having everyone in your life. It's about having the right people. Here's a simple rule to remember. Never trade your authenticity for approval. When you do, you might win temporary comfort, but you lose long-term respect. I've seen people twist themselves into knots just to fit in, to get the job, to keep the relationship, to avoid confrontation, and then wonder why they feel empty afterward. It's because you can't fake alignment. You can't lie to yourself and expect to feel strong. You know what's magnetic? Someone who is unapologetically themselves. Someone who walks into a room and doesn't care if everyone agrees with them. They don't need validation to validate themselves. They know their standards are high, and if you can't meet them, that's fine. They'll keep walking. That kind of energy is rare. And because it's rare, it commands respect. But let's be honest, it takes courage. It's not easy to hold your standards when people pressure you to lower them. It's not easy to say no when saying yes would make you popular. It's not easy to walk away from approval, especially when your whole life you've been taught to seek it too. But every time you stand firm, you build a reputation for being someone who can't be manipulated. And that's the foundation of respect, too. I remember a situation where I had to make a tough call. Everyone around me wanted to take the easy route, the popular route. It would have made everyone happy in the short term, but it violated my principles. And I had to make a choice. Do I keep everyone comfortable? Or do I stay true to my standards? I chose the second. Was it easy? No. Did it make some people upset? Absolutely. But over time, too, the same people who disagreed with me came back and said, "You were right to stand your ground." Because consistency builds trust. When people know you won't sell your values for convenience, they respect you, even if they don't like you in the moment. Leading with standards is about alignment. It's about knowing who you are, what you believe in, and refusing to betray that. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And leading yourself means saying, "This is my line and I will not cross it." When people see that you live by a code, they might test you, they might challenge you, but deep down, they'll trust you too, because integrity creates certainty. So how do you stop chasing approval? You start by getting brutally honest about what matters to you. What are your core values? What do you stand for when no one's watching? Once you know that, you stop seeking permission. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop explaining your worth to people who have already shown they don't value it. And yes, it might mean losing some people. It might mean facing criticism. It might mean standing alone for a while. But that solitude is powerful because it teaches you to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you don't need anyone's approval to feel whole. You walk differently. You speak differently. You carry a quiet confidence that says, "I know who I am. I know what I believe. And I don't need your validation to stand by it." There's a quote that says, "If you live for their approval, you'll die from their rejection." That's not just philosophy, it's reality. The people who chase approval live on emotional roller coasters, going to constantly adjusting to stay liked. The people who lead with standards live in peace because they don't change with the weather. So the next time you feel tempted to seek someone's approval, pause. Ask yourself, what am I sacrificing to get it? Your time, your peace, your dignity. Because every time you chase approval, you lower your price tag. And every time you lead with standards, you raise it. Respect yourself first and the world will adjust. That's how you earn respect instantly, not by proving your worth to others, but by showing them you'll never sell it short. Let me tell you something few people ever understand. The strongest person in the room is never the loudest, never the one trying to prove a point, never the one who's reacting to everything around them. The strongest person is the one who can stay calm when everyone else loses control. That's what real power looks like. It's not about dominance. It's about discipline, emotional discipline. Because respect isn't earned by how you act when things are easy. It's earned by how you behave when everything around you is falling apart. Emotional discipline is the ability to stay centered no matter what's happening outside of you. 2. It's the skill of mastering your reactions instead of letting them master you. Most people go through life on autopilot, reacting to every trigger, every insult, every inconvenience. Someone says something rude and they explode. A situation doesn't go their way and they shut down. But here's the thing. The moment you let someone pull you out of your calm, you hand them your power. You let them decide how you feel, how you think, how you respond. And when other people control your emotions, they control you. People respect emotional stability because it's rare. In a world where everyone's angry, impulsive, and offended, the person who can stay composed stands out. Think about the people you look up to, the ones you'd follow in a crisis. Are they the ones yelling, panicking, or blaming others? No, they're the ones who breathe, assess, and act. They don't let emotion cloud their judgment. They lead from a place of calm strength, too. But make no mistake, emotional discipline isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's not pretending you're okay when you're not. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about choosing your response consciously instead of reacting impulsively. It's the difference between power and chaos. Anyone can lose control, that's easy. But it takes real strength to stay still when your ego is screaming to strike back. Let's be honest. There will always be people who test your patience, who try to provoke you, who push your buttons just to see